In the name of Allah, today we'll speak about functions. As we said on the whiteboard, that function is a piece of code that executes some specific tasks. And we have two types of functions, built-in functions and user-defined functions in general. But let's see what we have in PHP. So it says that the real power of PHP comes from its functions. The real power of PHP comes from its functions. PHP has more than 1000 built-in functions, and in addition, you can create your own custom functions. PHP has more than 1000 built-in functions, more than 1000 built-in functions, and also you can create your own function. If you're not going to use this 1000 functions, you can use your own function. You can create your own function. So first, what are PHP built-in functions? So we have built-in functions. As we said, PHP has more than 1000 built-in functions that we can call them directly from within a script to perform a specific task. So we don't need to import any libraries to import any file or any header file or any functions or any classes or something. We can use them directly. These built-in functions are accessible and and you can check the reference all of these functions. These are the all functions. That's are the categories. So in arrays we have array functions. If you check, we have lots of array functions in PHP. In calendar also we have lots of functions in calendar. Mail also we have lots of functions like mail at xheader, log, SMTP, SMTPort or something else. In mathematics also we have lots of functions, and you had the homework also on mathematics functions. In zip, XML parsers, in all aspects we have built-in functions in PHP. That's all available, the complete overview of them on PHP built-in functions reference pages. In reference pages, if you come on references, at the end of this you have references. Set the PHP references, you have the array reference, calendar, date, error, exception, file system, filter, mail. All of them has their own functions. If you go on time zone, you have lots of time zones and also the functions for them. If you want to use the time zones or the regex functions, if you say lots of functions for regex. So besides these built-in functions, it's possible to create your own functions also. You can create your own function if you are not going to use from the built-in functions. As we said, PHP is rich of functions. It has lots of functions. So if you are not going to use the functions from PHP, built-in functions, you can create your own function. So a function is a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. A function is, we have three different definitions for functions. You can write down this. You can write down these details that a function is a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. A function will not execute automatically when a page loads. A function will not execute. You need to call it. You need to call that function. Then it will execute. If you don't call, it will not execute. Mustafa, focus on the screen, please. A function will be executed by a call to the function. So we have three steps. A function block is a statement of codes that can be used repeatedly in a program. And a function cannot execute automatically itself when the page loads. You must call the function to be done it. You must call a function to be executed or to be done it. So how we can create functions? How we can create a function? A user-defined function declaration starts with the keyword function. You must write the keyword function followed by the name of your function. Follow it by the name of your function. Like this example function my message. Then functions we have three syntax. A function must start with the key function. A function must start with a lowercase letter. Must start with a lowercase letter. That's not mandatory, but it's this syntax or the law for better understanding the difference between constructors, classes, and functions. Then a function must have a parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you can put the arguments, or you can have without any arguments. You can put the arguments, or you can omit the arguments. A function without an arguments. And then we have a function body that starts with a curly braces starting and ends with curly braces closings. So inside the function body, you write your executed or executable statements, anything that you want to be executed, or the functionality of your function, the jobs that your function should do. As this example, this function just only prints a hello world. This function just starts and prints a hello world. As a note also said that a function name must start with a letter or an underscore. Function names are not case sensitive. We spoke about it on previous lessons and variable section. We said that variables are case sensitive, but the function names, keywords, and classes names are not case sensitive. That's not important. You write this my message in uppercase or call it with lowercase. Write it with uppercase and call it with lowercase. That's not important. Why? Because then function is that in PHP, that's a loosely typed language. That's not important. You can have a function with lowercase or uppercase. That's not important. So give the function a name that reflects what the function does. Give the function a name that reflects what the function does. A function must say the works by its name. The name should reflect the usage of that function. Why you want to create function? If you are doing calculations, your function should be named calculator. You're adding such like sum or addition. Anything that your function does, the name must reflect that work. The name must reflect that work. So how we can call that function? Calling a function is very easy. Just you need to type the name and follow with the parentheses. Follow it by parentheses. If your function needs arguments, then put the arguments. If no, just only parentheses. If it requires an arguments and parameters, then you must type the parameters and put the parameters. If not, then it's not important. So like this, you have created a function my message, then you call it that my message. That this message will be printed according this usage. So how we can do this? Let's do in our code also and see how we can write a function. Very simple, very easy. Doesn't need anything special. Just you need to write some simple code. Let me do a break line. Then like just type function. Function, my function, my function. And put the parentheses, then the curly brackets. Now it says zero references. What it means that zero reference, we have not used it. We have not used this one. We can write hello world. Hello, I am a function. I am a function. Yeah. As we said, we can write the function by what? The function, its name, the keyword of function, the name of your function, put the parentheses, and now it says our function is returning void. Our function is returning void. Why returning void? Because we have no specific type. You can specify the type by using colon in front of your name and then your type, any type that you want. So our function is returning a void value. So nothing. Now we can print this one. You can use this function. We can call my function. Just simply type the name and run the program. Like what was our program? Now it says, hello, I am function. If I don't call this, it will not execute itself as we said. We need to call this. Now it says function is available. It has an echo, but we haven't called it. We need to call a function to execute that function. We need to call a function. How we call? We put the name and with the parentheses. If our function has the parameters like $x, $y, then we need to print this $. x and dollar y. So we need to put these values in here also, like 200 and 300. Now it will print this one with this one. It will print this one. Why? Because we have put parentheses. Now it says, hello, I'm function 299 and 2399. Why? Because we defined parameters and arguments to this. When we call that, we need to put this. When we call that function, we need to put those parentheses, those parameters, arguments inside the parentheses. If you have a specific return type like integer, then we must return an integer. Return $x plus $y. It must return sometime. Yeah. Yeah. One with void type that we didn't define the void. Another we can define the type. Now let's see. We return one and we have one return one. So we need to define this one. Echo return echo $x plus $y. And then it will return to you. So let's go, we come on that, no problem. So what's this? In our example, create your function with MySpace. Then try open the curly brace. It indicates the beginning of the function code, and closing braces, it means the ending of our function. Now we can put the arguments also here. We can put the arguments like this. Any arguments as we define it here, x and y. So we return it that x and y. Sorry, we need to define it. And then it will calculate the calculations. You can use this word also. This, oh, $this, and then x to assign this. If you're inside a, not only this, if you're inside a constructor of a class, inside constructor, you can use this notation. But without that, you can access them directly. You can access them directly without any problem, but we'll come on them. So these are the parentheses, also the parameters and arguments. You can have the arguments here on default arguments also, or when you need to return something. We'll come on them on next class. So any questions?